Let me tell you a story. It's about a student named Aarav. And yeah, it's his journey, but I think it's also a lesson for any of us who've ever felt like we're facing an uphill battle. So, right off the bat, you gotta understand something about Aarav. He wasn't the hero you see in movies. He wasn't the guy acing every single test, you know? He wasn't the class topper. In a lot of ways, he was just regular. And he didn't have a lot of the advantages other kids might have had. You wouldn't find shelves packed with all the latest, most expensive study guides in his room. His resources were, well, pretty limited. On top of that, forget about those fancy big name coaching centers that basically promise you success. Nope. He was pretty much on his own. Without that structured support system, a lot of his friends had. So, what did he have? This. This was it. This was the one thing he had that made all the difference. It wasn't about being a genius. It wasn't about money. It was just this. This stubborn refusal to quit. He just would not give up no matter what. All right, so let's dig into what was really driving this unlikely hero. I mean, what makes someone get out of bed at 5 a.m. every single day? You'd probably guess it's passion, right? But the truth was something a lot more raw. And here's the honest truth of it. His motivation didn't really come from a deep, burning love for his subjects. It came from a very real, very sharp fear. The fear of watching his family struggle, the fear of getting left behind in life. And that fear, well, it turned into a pretty powerful engine. So, as if his own internal battles weren't enough, he was also dealing with a constant barrage from the outside. Just think for a second about the heavy weight of the words he had to carry around every single day. You won't be able to do it. Just flat out. Imagine someone saying that to you. Not trying to help, just a complete dismissal of your dream. Then it gets a little more specific. Cracking a government exam isn't for everyone. You know that kind of comment? It's designed to make you feel like your goal belongs to some exclusive club, and you're not on the list. And then, maybe the most crushing one of all, stop dreaming. It's not just doubt anymore, is it? It's a command. Just give up. And of course, those words landed. They weren't just background noise. He felt every single one. There were nights he cried without making a sound. There were definitely moments he thought, maybe they're right. Maybe I should just quit. He's human after all. But in those moments, when he was right on the edge of giving up, something always pulled him back. The pain from all those doubts, it didn't end up breaking him. Instead, he found a way to turn it all into fuel. This is what he focused on. It wasn't just about an exam anymore. It was about the image of his mother's hands, tired from working so hard. It was about his father's quiet sacrifices that never got a mention. It was about the dreams he knew they had for themselves, but had pushed aside for him. That's who he was fighting for. So, with that fire burning, he started the real work. You know, the part nobody ever sees, the part that isn't exciting or glamorous at all. This is where success is actually made, in the quiet, lonely hours. His strategy was super simple, mostly because it had to be. No fancy resources meant he had to get creative. He'd watch free lectures on YouTube. He'd borrow notes from any friends who were willing to share. And then, the most important part, he would just revise and revise and then revise again. No magic tricks, just pure discipline. And look, this wasn't a quick 6-month journey. A whole year went by. And then, another one. This took an incredible amount of patience. It was a marathon for sure, not a sprint. All this time, the world kept moving. He saw his friends getting jobs, moving on with their lives. He could hear the relatives comparing him to others. But he just put his head down, blocked out the noise, and kept putting one foot in front of the other. Slow, silent, steady. And then, after all that time, all that quiet work, a day came that started out just like any other. But it wasn't going to end that way. The moment of truth was finally here. Can you just imagine it? Staring at the computer screen, hands literally shaking. Your heart is pounding in your chest. Years of work, all the sacrifices, all the doubts, everything comes down to this single click. And there it was. One word. Just one word that changed everything. Selected. All that weight, all that pressure, just gone. His reaction wasn't a big shout of, "I'm the best." It was this quiet whisper of gratitude. I think he was thanking something bigger than himself, or maybe even thanking that part of himself that refused to listen when he wanted to give up. And this brings us to the most important part of the whole story. What people saw at the end and called lucky, that wasn't the reality. The reality was all the stuff nobody saw. The sleepless nights, the quiet moments of breaking down, the crippling self-doubt, and the incredible courage it took to face that every single day. That's not luck. That's what real effort looks like. So, if you're out there right now and you're in your own forged in silence phase, if you're in that I am trying stage, please remember this. That feeling, that struggle, it's not the end of your story. It's just the setup. It's the hard part that comes before that incredible moment when you finally get to say, with total relief and pride, I did it. So keep going, because that day is coming.